Model monitoring is one of the key activity in overall machine learning process. And the quality of your model does not depends only on how well you have trained your machine learning model based on historical data, but it also depends upon how well you monitor your model in production. And here you can clearly see that the model performance will decline from the day you will deploy your model in production, right? And this is the reality. If you're not careful about your model and model environment, you will see this type of decline. And that's not the ideal state we need to be in. We need some more efficient and robust process where we can maintain the model quality. So like this, right? So here you can clearly see that whenever my pipeline is seeing a decline in the model quality, we refresh the model based on new reality or based on new data, because my earlier model was based on historical data, right? And at this point of time, it might happen that the reality would have changed, right? So this time the reality would have changed, and here we need to take those reality, we need to retrain my model and apply it again in production, new version, right? So just monitor it, take new reality, refresh it. So in this way you can maintain the quality of a model in production. So that's the ideal state. That's the ideal state we need to be in, right? But the main question comes, how will you monitor that my model performance is declining? Because that is very difficult. Because target outcome is not available upfront. And in those scenarios, it would be very difficult for us to calculate the regular metrics like AOC score, F1 score, precision recall, all those sort of matrices. Because in many cases, the target outcome would only be available after 2 weeks of time, or in some cases 6 weeks of time. So take an example of fraud. In fraud, the target outcome would only be available after 6 weeks of analysis. And in those scenarios, we cannot rely on the regular metrics to understand whether the model has declined over time or not. And we need some other mechanism for identifying the decline in my model performance. So here we will first try to understand how the end-to-end process works and how we normally perform drift monitoring in production. Okay, so let's start with the actual training process. So the actual training process starts with your training data, and we take validation and test data, right? We use training data to train machine learning model. We use validation and test data to evaluate my model performance. And once we are happy with my model performance, we store the model artifacts in some storage. So take an example here. I am storing it to AWS S3. And at runtime, at inference time, my machine learning API will take model artifacts from AWS S3, and it will take the input data received from my client application, and my machine learning API will perform a prediction, and then the response would be returned back to client application, and client application will behave based on those predictions, right? And if you look at every stage, I am storing all the data. So here I am storing all the input data which my inference pipeline has received from client application, and we are storing it to the storage system, right? And at the same time also we are storing the prediction. So whatever my machine learning API has produced, we are storing that prediction to my storage system. This is about my inference pipeline. So this is inference pipeline. Inference pipeline. Okay. Now let's talk about training pipeline. So in training pipeline, what we are doing, we are generating a set of data expectation, right? And we would be storing that into some storage location. So what is data expectation? As we know that my model depends upon data, right? And data has certain properties, right? So like the standard deviation, minimum, maximum, right? If certain columns will contain missing values, right? So in categorical columns, if that follow certain distribution, right? So those sort of aspects we need to store as a part of data expectation. And we can generate lots of data expectation on which my model depends on. And if those behavior will deviate, that will impact the performance of my model. So those data expectation would be a good indicator of finding out any decline in my model performance, because we have trained machine learning model based on those data expectation. And if in production we'll find that it's deviating from those expectations, then that's a good indication that something is wrong in my production environment, right? And and that's what we are storing it in my storage location. And similarly, we are also storing the score distribution. So whatever prediction my model would be generating, we would store all those prediction distribution within my database or storage location, because the target outcome would not be available upfront, right? And this prediction distribution would be a good indication of finding out whether the distribution of my prediction is changing or not. If that is changing, that means there is something new in my production environment, and the prediction distribution which we have observed during the model training is not same as what we have observed in the production environment. And that's a proxy, right, for understanding the model decline, right? So we will store the both data expectation and model score distribution in a cloud storage system. And this data drift check process, as you can see, that this is a scheduled process. Based on our requirement, we can schedule this process maybe on hourly basis or on 15 days or monthly basis. So whatever the frequency your data drift check process will have, it would be triggered. And what it will do, it will take the data from my production system in which we have stored all the live traffic and the prediction scores from my machine learning API. And this production system will have details about the new reality. And this drift check process will compare the new reality with the data expectation and the prediction score distribution which we have observed during the model training, right, which was based on historical data. And if my drift check process will find that the new reality is not matching with the historical evidences, then that's a good indication that something has changed in production environment, and this data drift check process will raise an alert, right? And depending upon your business requirement or whatever process you have, either it will trigger a process for operations team, and operations team can take some corrective action to fix the issue, right? Probably manually perform some retraining activities, or will take some corrective action to fix that issue. Or we can trigger this pipeline, automated pipeline, in which the model training activity will happen. And you can see this dotted line. It's going to model phase, right? And here it will be taking the training data again. But the training data will take the new reality. And from where it will take the new reality? It will take from my production system. You can see. And my new reality plus historical data model would be retrained, and it would be stored within AWS S3 location. And this process can be repeated a number of times. So whenever we'll see a drift in production environment, we'll follow this automated process where we will retrain our model based on new reality, and this process would be repeated, right? So this talks about how the drift monitoring happens in production, right? And next we will see what to detect for identifying drift, because that's another aspect we need to understand. And there could be different factors we need to consider, both from what input features we need to consider for identifying drift, and what output features, or mainly from the target outcome perspective, what we need to monitor for identifying the drift, right? So that's the next topic we will discuss. Thank you.